So let me just set this up. I'm bombarded with people in the last 3 days telling me, oh, look what Tucker said. The president's in a bind. I don't think the president cares what Tucker or anyone in MAGA thinks about this right now. And this morning, the White House put out a lengthy press release. This is 115, chronicling all the times as president and as a candidate, Donald Trump said Iran will not be allowed to have nuclear weapons. This is go ahead and just scroll it through. You'll see some White House researcher got to spend their day putting this together. President's clearly stated no fewer than a dozen times that Iran cannot be allowed to have nuclear weapons. So there's all the times he said it as president with citations. And then you'll see a little further down, it's all the times he said it as a candidate. The president would like to frame this as very simple, binary. Iran is about to have nuclear weapons. They can't, and so someone needs to do something about it, and that means the United States has to help Israel, which, of course, has got an existential concern about this. In addition, you have opposition. And as I said, I don't think this is a time. He's not running for re-election. He doesn't need anything from MAGA. He's crossed MAGA in the past. So here you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, 108, standing up for Tucker, saying Tucker's her great friend. He's more popular since he left Fox. That's our apparent reference to the president yesterday mocking Tucker's reach. If we don't fight for our own country and our own people, then we will no longer have a country for our children and grandchildren. Foreign wars, intervention, regime change, put America last, kill innocent people, are making us broke and all ultimately lead to our destruction. Tell that to the people in Tel Aviv who would rather Iran not have a nuclear weapon. Now, as I said earlier, Marjorie Taylor Greene sounds a lot like David Hogg and vice versa. Here's David Hogg, outgoing DNC vice chair and progressive extraordinaire. Any Democrat who supports this war with Iran needs to be primaried. Our generation grew up going through two multi-trillion-dollar wars we should have never been involved in. We are not effing going back to that. If you think this is a good idea, read a history book. This is the back to the Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump coalition of the far left and the far right against forever wars. But as Sean, you said, this is not a forever war. This is a simple binary. It's a moment where Iran is weaker than it's been in the last several decades. It's a moment where Israel, through last year's action and the actions of the last few days, have now got supremacy over airspace over Iran. And it's a moment when the United States has an opportunity to rid the world not just of a bad actor, but in some ways, after Putin, the worst actor. So do you agree with me? How do you feel about my view that the president in this case is not really concerned with what that branch of MAGA thinks?
I don't think it's true. I think he does care. There's a big difference. I think at the end of the day, this is why this sort of discussion, there are equal number of MAGA folks on the other side as well. As you mentioned, Laura Loomer, Bannon's a little bit more unequivocal. I think I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I don't think he's as hard as Tucker right now. This is a split decision. So this is like when people say the president didn't listen to so-and-so. Well, if there's two camps, he clearly listened to someone. I think there is a split in some of the MAGA base. And as I said a moment ago, I think there's also a misread. There is a difference. He's not sending a battalion of Marines over there to fight this war. He is not sending a brigade of U.S. soldiers that's very different than putting boots on the ground, sending over pallets of cash. I think what he is doing is consistent with the America First principles of national security, protecting our interests. And frankly, at the end of the day, allowing Iran to have a nuclear weapon who chants death to America and stopping them from doing this is 100% consistent with America First. Not getting blown up is pretty solidly America First.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.